very
No, them shades, this was, look, they were trying to suck out her very soul. That's what they do. If they get you left unchecked, they just grab onto you and then that's it. That's the end of all the things. But I arrived, I tried to fend them off, but of course, them bastards took all my cards they need. My gigantic, mighty parasol of weapon and destruction.
It's fantastic.
It is. But of course, they're the ones that stole my cards, and so I can't bring it back. It's not all my cards. Well, you've heard of me, have you not? Maybel Jacobs, dealer of fate. Not just your standard tarot reader, but though I can do as good as any of those charlatans down in West Rambles, except that my cards are a little bit different. You see, they respond to the soul inside you. They help amplify you. They change things, as it were. And that's why it's just not a simple healing that needs to be done to her. We gotta, well, tell her soul to go back where it belongs, you see. And so in order to do that, I'd need creation and inspiration and calm control in order to bring about a transformation. There's a lot of shins in there, I'll work it out. But I've got control, which is strength. So I've got that one because that's the card that attunes to me, but unfortunately I've never been one to really call to the star, the Empress, and death. Don't give me that look, it's not actual death, it's transformation. Why does everybody get that bloody wrong? Anyway, this is why I'm so confused as to why the shades got a hold of them, because they ain't got no souls left to speak on, right? So it should be really easy to get them back so that we can bring your friend back here, and I don't need to tell you that not to dawdle too much because she ain't got a whole lot of time left. So in order to call to the cards, we're not going to need any of these ridiculous things. We don't need any fighting because that's not how cards work. No, they want to hear you. So think back to your own histories. Remember, it was important. Think back to your own histories then. What I'm looking for is either a story of inspiration, a story of creation, or a story of transformation. One of the three. You don't need to tell all three, because what you're going to do is you're going to try to find one of the cards, because I'm sure they're wandering about somewhere, and don't worry, they're not going to fight you. They're all half faded anyway. Tell your story to the card. The shade will stand there and listen, because he ain't got bloody anything else to do. And the one that the card attunes to most will go to that person. Does that make sense? Is it clear as mud? Now you can only ever get one card. So pick which story you think fits best. So you're either looking for the star, which is inspiration, you know, wishing upon a star and all that nonsense. The Empress, which is creation. Or death, which is transformation. Does it make sense? Alright, take a moment, think about what you're going to do, who's going to go after what, because I'd hate for everybody to try to go get death for some reason, and not get everything else. So think about what you want to do and go find the cards. And please hurry. You know, if you need a drink of water before you start talking a lot, remember to get that too. Alright.
Allow me to tell you the story of how I was. Not like that, Sean. Dear miss, when I was young, I followed my parents. I was sent to Bristol to help the Draco disciples. I was a father. In order to create the praetor, I had to give my lover. He ripped her heart out, and I let her just give her heart. He ate her heart, became the praetor to see it. He then proceeded to murder his own daughter who was left alive. He created a story. He left her checked. I rose from nothing. And now,
also rose from nothing. It's my creation story. My father, he was quite well known. The Blackwells were famous for being mages, generations of them. Except, just my luck, I was the only child to be born without any magical talent whatsoever. That didn't suit my father very well, and he favored my older brother over me. So I tried to find some way else I could make myself well known. So I decided, and I studied and became a warrior. Just started I practiced every day. I tried to win my father's love by impressing him that way. But that didn't work. He still ignored me. So I set out on my own, started wandering, making my way through the world any way I could. And that's eventually why I came here, what created me, being born into that family.
A few years ago, new travelers had joined us at Crystal, and they were multi-varied. There were some of the Lunar tribe, there were some of the Order, there were even some like the Dracos, and in an effort to make all of them see each other as human beings, not enemies, I had each of these travelers go and talk to the members of the Twisted Claw, talk to the Full Puddles, treat them to the Draco disciples, and learn of their tales. And four of each of these people had multicolored string. There was red, there was blue, there was yellow, and there was red. Did I say red? I said red already, oh well. And they brought these strings back to me, and I produced a pink one. And together we wove these 5 strands together and created our stories all in a tapestry as one. And then each walked away with friendship bracelets to remember the world that we created.
But I was young. I was with my parents. They wanted me to be the perfect father, marry the cutest guy in the village, and I didn't want that for myself. I wanted to see the world. And so I changed who I was. I created myself. I ran away the night that I was supposed to marry. And I ran to Bristol. I had met many people, and there I learned magic. And from that, I created who I am today.
Look at us all standing together. Well, sort of standing. It's different, so I can see. Just get out of the way. Look at us all standing together.
We want the card. It's very important. It could save you. You could create a new life for yourself. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you listen to your story. As Thomasina, I was not always a noble. I used to be the daughter of a fishmonger in Calais, in France. And the Prince of France came and said, I like that abnormality. I shall buy it for Her Majesty, the Queen of England, and gift it to her. And so I went from being a French subject to an English subject in a new country, a new language, new customs, new culture, everything new. And no more family. For me, it was a big change. Anyone else have a story? I think the idea is to tell them all and he will get the best.
Once a servant of the dark, I followed the way of the Draco disciples. separated me from my family, but years later, I ran into my sister again. She nearly killed me in the encounter. We almost killed each other, in fact. But at the same time, she spared my life. Changed who I was. Now I work for the side of the light.
I was not always a right mind. For 3 years after my father's death, I was inhabited by the spirit of a being from beyond, yet within. He was an elder god. And after the workings of the Band of the Twisted Claw, I was given my mind back and set free back into the world.
Lilith or Alice, do either of you have a story?
I have a story, I guess. Before I came to the Band of the Twisted Claw, I lived somewhere quite else, and it was quite a normal childhood. I really can't complain, but I was engaged to a man who I shall say I was not really seeing eye to eye with. And instead of really trying to work things out, I was cowardly and I ran away because I did not want to face my upset parents or upset siblings, because I did love them dearly. I really do have a poor sense of direction, and I ended up getting very lost. I was wandering in the woods for many a day, probably more than I can count. I was near death at one point, and I thought all hope was lost, and so I just sat and I gave up on everything. But instead of seeing death come for me, I had a vision, and this vision told me, I should say, it sort of told me, it's really hard to explain when you get to vision, you sort of see things in your head, but it told me to keep walking, and to keep walking south. And even though I didn't really want to, this pressing urge to go south kept driving me forward, and I indeed followed and ran into a traveling group of gypsies, which was indeed the Band of the Twisted Claw. And while I did indeed tell a lie to get in, I did say I was a soothsayer, because visions and all, I sort of thought that was the best excuse to make them let me join them, but I can't really say I was one. But Thorin did agree to let me stay, and I now study under Gaia to become a soothsayer, and now that I'm here, my visions have actually returned, and I'm starting to feel more like the person I said I was. So,
Do you have one?
When I first joined the Band of the Twisted Claw, you see, I was a bit of a tomboy. I got all of the old clothes from all of the older men. I got Raven Hawkwood Schmies. I wore pants at first, just wore bloomers. Then, as I grew older, Gaia and Talia, they go about and they're going, Lilith, you're a girl. You're supposed to wear girl things. Of course I didn't want to. I hated girl things. I wanted to wear the boy clothing, because I felt just more comfortable that way. Not to go around wearing a bodice. As I get older, and I see all of these inspirational people around me. Talia Tail, Gaia Videa, Thomasina, Queen Elizabeth I. They're women, they are strong, and I look up to them so much. And, well, I decided for the first time, I'd try the bodice. Mayhaps dressing like a woman isn't so bad after all, and I must throw away my childish beliefs.
Alright, I guess it comes down to me. Well, that's a shame. Greetings to you. I am not one who fears death. I am a soothsayer, and I speak unto the dead quite often. I have with me here my cat in my codpiece, as one carries one's cat usually, and I speak unto the dead. This is how I am. This is how I was my whole life. I am known as Gaia Videa. Videa means to see. I come to the Band of the Twisted Claw,
And I work with them, I see visions, I help them, but this is all that I can do. There are those who fight, there are those who can heal. But for me, it's always an abstract thing. For me, all I can give them is snatches and little glimpses of dreams, and sometimes I do not feel quite so useful. And there are those things that are very frightening. They are the Draco disciples, and they can hurt me, they can kill me. And then one day Loki is let loose in Bristol. And we must find Loki's spear. It is called Drakaslaga. And once it is recovered, it is brought forth, and they call for me to see this spear. So I walk up. It is a big spear. It is a huge spear. When I lay my hand upon Drakaslaga, I am overwhelmed with the magic. I am transformed. It is then known that I am a keeper of knowledge. And this now has empowered me. And this now makes me move forth Bristol. And I can defeat the Draco disciples. That is my story. Now you are a real girl.
Helps Mum.
Right, let us get the card back.
Inspirational story. Battle of the Wolfpack. Me and my brethren were there facing the forces of chaos. I can talk properly. We're pushed back to our limit. There's not much we can do. I take a vanguard and tell everybody to fall back when suddenly one of their chaos knights steps forward, a hammer as foul as the filth of the earth itself. Comes up, blows me to the side. I'm thrown. I have no idea what's going to happen to my brother. I ask out for my goddess's help. Oh, please bless me with the strength. Like a thunderclap, I exploded into flame. I was a walking avatar of my goddess's fury. I come forward. I battle the chaos. I destroy him and leave his hammer melted in my hand, saving my brethren of that day.
Yay.
Next.
Well, back in the day when I was still in Ireland, and all my family had died tragically, I was inspired to seek out the healing arts. For I did not want any more people that I loved to die, because I was helpless to do anything for them. So I got on a boat and I crossed that horrible sea over to England. Have you ever been on a boat? And anyway, I went to the colleges and I snuck in the back. There's a wee little woman. No one looks at you. So I could listen in to all the lectures about the healing arts and watch as they were digging into the bodies and pulling out the ropes of intestines and showing all the tendons. And if I did not have the death of my family, I would not have been inspired to learn all that I did learn. And that is all I've got.
For a very long time, I was aboard a ship. I was a quartermaster aboard a pirate ship. We docked in Bristol. When I set foot onto the land, I realized this is a place I could actually do something in. I could wash away my past, and I could become somebody new. I learned a new trade. I found work, and I am on beginning my journey now to being something more than I was. I am giving back, I am creating, instead of taking and destroying.
He was possessed by spirits, and that spirit made him seek out his mom. However, the spirit did not know what his mom looked like, and so he sought out everyone. But whoever the little boy touched, it would too become possessed by the spirit. We could not fight the spirits, we could only hold it at bay. It was only when we found the boy's mother, and she gave him her love, did the spirit pass on and did free everyone. It is through the power of love that can provide much more than any hatred.
Around you, you come up here. You are death, and you are the Empress. Excellent. Excellent. Well done, Hobbits. Give this back to him. We'll use the real deck for this. going about this whole day all wrong. All of it. Danny isn't your enemy. Not even one little bit. All you've got for that is her say so. Danny's just trying to help us. He's just trying to end this mess that we created. All he's trying to do is stop the madness, because we're all out of time. Do you not see? We're all in the wrong time, out of time, in some other place, in the wrong place, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being called Maybel the Mad, or Maybel the Misunderstood, or Maybel the Maker of Nasty Divorces. And my cards know it, just as you three know it. You know it well. This isn't about trying to save something, because all it does is happen over and over and over again. We need to stop this. There's only one way to do that. To end all the hope. That misguided hope in the future that you seem to cling to. She knows it. And that's what this is all about. So that we can finish unchaining the bitter witch that lives within. So, as soon as I can get you to turn your cards to their proper inverse, then the spell will reverse itself. Turn her into the most horrific person you've ever met. Don't despair, puppets. It's just a lesson, told in a way they will never forget. You, call to the Empress. You understand what it means to be in charge, to delight in being in charge, enjoy seeing suffering. Is it not true that they get that rush of power when they feel like they are in command and they get to crush other people underneath their gigantic boot?
Aye.
Indeed. Is that all you're going to say then? Not defend some kind of strange hope in the future?
It is better to have them not struggle against me. It is better not to grind them under my heel.
Truly? Coming from you? I've heard about you, and you truly believe that?
Things go much easier when they all behave.
I am impressed. Are you certain you would not like to see everyone revere you over all else?
Aye.
Fine then. Do you want to play this game?
I'd rather work for it. It's better that way.
Then, the Empress remains in the upright alignment. Fine. No matter, there's still two more. You, who call to death. You understand that every time there's a transformation, it changes you. It takes away a little bit more of your innocence every single time it comes to pass. Is it not true that every time death comes calling, she removes a piece of yourself and changes you for the worst? Is it not true that every single time she touches your life, she makes it a little harder to love, to hope, to feel happy over and over again? Is that all you're going to say about it then? You will see death remaining in control of your life. Then, we will play this game. 1 and 1. Death turns to the inverse. You, sir, have the ability to change the tides, because the star, the inspiration, controls all of humanity's hopes. Every person that has ever wished upon a star, you control that power. Yet, how aloof you seem to the rest of us. How happy and content you must be to remain up in the sky while we stumble down here on the ground, running around trying to figure out what to do, and all you do is sit up there and shine. Tell me truly, are you content then to stand up there? Are you content then to remain your perfect little pristine building, perfect little pristine model? Or are you also a man?
Oh, I am more human than as ever been. I have been through tragedy. I have been through hopelessness. I have seen death in its face and more. I shine with my strength because I shine for the light of others, so they can see the hope, so they can have their dreams answered. That is what I stand for.
Truly. It wasn't supposed to be that way then. There wasn't supposed to be any hope left inside anyone.
Because I don't fight for myself. I don't shine for my own gratitude. I shine for my brethren, for my sisters, for those that need us in the time of need! That is why I shine.
Then my words will never have any effect. It wasn't supposed to be this way. There wasn't any hope left anywhere. It was supposed to be a simple matter of taking her down. But there is hope. I just didn't see it. If only there was some left for me. Fine. The star will remain in its upright alignment.
Ah! Back, you bloody bed sheets!
Ashton, who's been casting those cards around me?
Feeling better?
Oh.
We got a problem.
Even slightly.
Gertrude.
Gertrude.
I've never seen it before in my life. Those shades surrounded me. They blocked out the sun. I thought I was falling through darkness.
I am left unchecked. I'd steal your soul and leave behind only emptiness.
Oh, well, that's friendly. So, who are you? What are you doing here? What is all this?
She was trying to do something.
No. No.
She was trying to do something to you.
I did not.
She
No.
tried to trick us.
It was the hope and the healing and the benevolence of this lot that returned your hope back to you. And you brought me with you. Sorry. I was wrong. I was desperately wrong. Please, I only saw the picture that Danny painted for me. I didn't think. I heard his truth, but I didn't see it was only half of the truth. And you've changed my card back to its upright alignment. Thank you. Thank you for bringing me back. If it's any help at all, and you'd let me remain here even just no further, perhaps I can find out which one of you calls the card of strength.
Well, strength isn't what we need. What we need is a way to defeat Danny.
Oh, well, I'm not saying that I have something, but as he was leading me here, well, his bag isn't really the most secure of things, and so he dropped this. I figure if it's any kind of piece of Danny, then it must be useful somehow.
We have the rest of that. We have 2 other pieces of that.
I have latched it.
Who has it now? Oh, yes.
Who else would have it?
Richard!
Yes?
What are you doing?
It's got feelings on it.
So you're licking it?
No, I licked it to find out that it had feelings on it.
What do feelings taste like?
What?
It's Danny we're talking about. What do you think?
It's alright, I've been inoculated. Alright, that should stay there. Alright, got a headache that could kill a moose. You lot, rest and take your ease. Eat if you have food with you. You and me, we're going to look over this, see if there's any plan we can formulate with what we've got so far.
Aye.
Alright.
Let's fix this.
We are free to go fetch food.
Intermission!
Okay, who's gonna play the fancy orchestra music?